Hey there, it's Matt from Yuba Woodworking, and today I was going to do a brief first lesson in getting started with pyrography. Maybe you're thinking about making a gift for someone in your family or friend, and you wanted to make something out of with a wood burning pencil. So today I'm going to give a very brief first lesson. Hopefully this can be the first of a few lessons that I do in pyrography. And so I've been making these pyrography cars for my nephew. His first initial is G. So hopefully this is a good primer for you. Hopefully get you interested in this part of woodworking. And hopefully you can learn a little something if this is something that you're starting to do. Remember, this is just an introductory lesson. There's a lot more to learn, but I figured this would be a good primer for people. All right, let's get started. I very quickly sketched out the initials on paper, G and T. Now, I'm definitely not an artist, but this doesn't really need to be perfect on paper. These were just kind of concepts. And then I got these wooden cars. I picked these up at the dollar store for $1 a piece. I sketched a version of the T on the front of the car. The G, I'm thinking, might go on the side of this one just because there's more room. I'm not sure exactly. Maybe I'll put the G on the front like that. The grain, I don't really like the grain all that much, so I might avoid that. Or I might do his nickname is Jet, so I might do Jet across here, Jet on the wheel. Haven't quite decided yet. I definitely know that the T is going there though. So sketch it on paper and then sketch it on the wheel. A lot of people think that they need really expensive pyrography equipment. You don't. This is a low-end pen, that wood burning pen that I purchased. I actually got this at Goodwill a few years ago. It serves my purposes for what I do really well. Spent $2 on it. If you want to spend hundreds of dollars on pyrography equipment, you can, but you certainly don't need to. You see, the first thing I'm going to do is I go along the outline that I created with this kind of sharp, it looks kind of like a fountain pen tip. I'm going to go and trace along the T that I wrote. Now you can see that I've outlined it. There's a lot of pencil tracings on there still, and that's completely okay. The pencil will get erased, especially as you go over it again with the pencil. Now, if you look along the right-hand side, I did want to try to create the image of three-dimensionality to the letter T, and I added a little triangle there with the pen to make it look like a shadow, almost like the letter T is hovering. You can style it as you want, but the first step is to outline the letter, and then you can go through. And I'm always very light with my first time through, because it's easier to fix mistakes if you're very light. You can always just sand the mistake off. The problem is that if you sand too much, then you have to start all over again. So it's better to go light, and then once you have a definite idea of what you're doing, then go through with the darker thing. So that's what I'm going to do once I finish up my shading. All right, so you can see now that I finished the G on the second car, and I've started to do some of the shading. And what I'm doing for the shading is I'm taking this particular tip. It's a weird shaped tip. It's often used for calligraphy. And I get it so it's like this. So it's just the very, very tip of this. And so the heat is all in the metal column that's coming out of where the green handle is. And then as it gets further down, I'm trying to use this finger, as it gets further down this part, the heat is a little bit less. So you're going to be able to get that lighter brown with this particular tip. All right, so the final step on my end is I go through and I clean up anything with this particular point. It is for going through and outlining. I'm not going to touch the shaded part, like that part in the G on the sides or the part in the T on the sides. I'm going to go through and I'm going to outline this part right along the edge just to give the G a little bit more pop, give the T a little bit more pop. And then what you can do after that is, if you want to paint these, you can go through and paint them. I haven't decided yet if that's what I'm going to do. I think they would look nice, but I also know that Jet is very into that kind of stuff himself, so I may just leave them blank so that he can paint them, or that or his mom or one of his sisters might want to paint it too. So I think I'm going to leave it like this, just to give him as many options as possible on what the final outcome will look like. All right, here we have the finished product. Here's the G. Here is the T. Now, this is by no means professional level pyrography, but I did want to demonstrate that you can get really high quality work with a very cheap pen. Like I said, I bought mine at Goodwill for $2. You don't need to spend a ton of money to get good level work out of these things, especially if you're just beginning. This is a really easy way to ease into it, and if you do want to spend more money, then you're more than welcome to. But if you're just starting out, don't feel like you need to spend a ton of money to get started with pyrography. All right, that's all for today. I hope you found this a little bit helpful. If it was, please hit that like button. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks.